Okay, Street Fighter the movie. Ironically, this is based more on Street Fighter 2 than on the actual Street Fighter, which would make it called Fighting Street, which would probably have been a really bizarre movie to have seen because most people never recall the video game. Now, if you played the video game, essentially, depending on the style, you have 8 to 16 playable characters, and the main purpose of the goal of the game is to fight your way through all these different continents to eventually make your way to M. Bison. M. Bison, of course, is the boss of the game, who normally is ridiculously tough. And everyone has their own individual reason for why they're going to the tournament. So how do you translate that into a movie? Well, ironically, most of Jean-Claude Van Damme's career has been spent with him entering tournaments with the main goal to be to defeat some main bad guy at the very end. Sadly enough, you could take almost any other Jean-Claude Van Damme movie, tweak the character names, and you would probably get a closer version to Street Fighter than the movie Street Fighter. What you have instead is M. Bison is kind of running an army/terrorist organization, and Guile is heading up the UN Special Forces, like a UN military group. So it's kind of like G.I. Joe, which by itself wasn't a very good movie. I will give it some credit for the following things. Most of the people actually looked kind of like their characters. The guy who played E. Honda looked kind of like E. Honda. The guy that had who was Zangief looked like Zangief. You know, they did a pretty good job actually picking people who looked like their characters. Then they threw in characters that had absolutely no reason to be there. Dhalsim is a genetic scientist. And then Charlie, who's the person who later became Blanca. Yeah, you really don't need Blanca or Dhalsim in this movie. Out of all the characters from the initial 8, you probably could got away with not having those two. The guy that had who played Sagat. In the video game, Sagat looked like he was like 7 foot tall. And was lanky toned. The guy they got, you know, eye patch, yeah, he looks pretty close. Yeah, I'll give him some credit for that. He looks decently close to the guy. Nowhere near physically imposing, but you know, not bad. The saddest thing to me, this is also Raul Julia's last performance. It says M. Bison. And he does the Psycho Crusher. And he fights Jean-Claude Van Damme as Guile, or Guile, depending on how you want to pronounce it. This movie, ironically, is just bad on all levels. It's a bad Jean-Claude Van Damme movie. Which is saying a lot, because most of his movies, he plays the exact same character. You know, trying to throw in, you know, 2 military organizations while at the same time trying to also break it down to a one-on-one fight at the end. Just when I first saw this movie, I had bought Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo for my computer. It came with a 6-button controller, which was great for playing on your computer, and this movie on VHS. Thinking of all the money that was wasted on the additional packaging, the additional weight to throw in that VHS, and it's just such a for being such a great video game, you think they could make a decent movie out of it, and then it happens even worse. They make a crappy video game off of it. So if you want to see Street Fighter in a any sort of action form beyond the video game, your best bet is the cartoons. You know, the animated and Street Fighter Alpha movie are both ridiculously far superior to the live-action atrocity.